is now. Well, thank you very much for inviting me to speak at your conference. It's great to be here and a privilege and a pleasure to be talking about the Missing Salmon Alliance. This is a collaboration of charities and organisations. And that's quite significant because there are 166,000 registered charities in the UK, and few of them, in my view, work together as much as they could or should. So when we started this, we decided we wanted to change that because we all have exactly the same aim, which is to improve the conservation of Atlantic salmon. So we started our discussions in September 2018 and we were up and running by spring 2019. And our collaboration comprises the Angling Trust, the Atlantic Salmon Trust, Fisheries Management Scotland, the Game and Wildlife Conservation Trust and the Rivers Trust. Our chairman is David Mayhew, and we are about collaborative fundraising, as Peter has suggested, collaborative science, collaborative communications and advocacy, and pooling our knowledge, data and resources. So the Angling Trust does mainly England and Wales advocacy and policy work. The Atlantic Salmon Trust does Scottish research and advocacy. The Fisheries Management Scotland does Scottish advocacy and policy. GWCT does England research, and the Rivers Trust does improved rivers management. So you can see how this all fits together well. And is it working? Yes, it is, and it has been a really satisfying journey, and I think at two levels. One, the fact that we are working much more effectively and with much closer working relations. And the other for me, as somebody who's run a charity for many years now, it is really good to know that we are part of a charitable collaboration, because as I say, they are rarer than they should be. So we make use of each other's expertise and have made much more use of each other's expertise as we've moved into this collaboration. It's been very effective for fundraising, both voluntary fundraising, charitable fundraising and public sector fundraising. So donors want to see organisations working together. And we now have a team of powerful fundraisers working collectively at a high level to attract both types of funding. And we have a proper scientific collaboration, and you'll hear more from Colin Bull later on this afternoon about the project work we're doing, the data sharing, the acoustic tagging, and how we're pooling all this knowledge and expertise, looking at every stage of the salmon life cycle. And it also makes it much easier to take the science into policy and practice, because there is this much closer collaboration and a much better understanding of the scientific outcomes by the very same people who are taking it into policy and practice. So the likely suspects framework, which Colin will talk about, as this picture demonstrates, is looking at absolutely everything that affects the salmon life cycle from at the very top of the river down to the marine environment, and looking at all the pinch points and the barriers to survival and the contributors to mortality. And then we take action on what we've learnt from that research into advocacy and also into river restoration and salmon conservation. So we're very focused not only on doing the research, but how we make the research have impact. And the things we want to impact are what I call the 3 Ps, So the P for policy, the P for public awareness, and the P for good practice. So Colin will talk about the projects. And I think for us as a collaboration in the Missing Salmon Alliance, the single question that we have to keep asking ourselves is, are the salmon benefiting? Is what we are doing improving the lot of Atlantic salmon? And if we can answer that question yes, then we are getting what we are trying to do right. So Peter, thank you very much. Very happy to take any questions.